Smile. Hi, everyone. Welcome back into our show. We are so excited to be here once again, known as Prime Time, because we are giving it our prime time, right?
Right.
With
Absolutely.
a lot of prime reasons for you to join us, and we're very excited because today we're sort of celebrating in advance for all of us. We have Valentine's Day coming up, not until Sunday. And we won't be here on Monday, and it just seemed appropriate to share the love, along with some of the skills that we have for you today to live a more empowered and mastered lifestyle in the crazy times we have. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville-Kelly, and with me is my husband and best friend, Dennis Kelly.
Hi.
Hi.
Glad you invited me back.
I'm glad that you decided to come back. Hey, you know what? Not only are we dressed in red for Valentine's Day, but red and black for the Bucks, Tampa Bay Bucks. They won the Super Bowl. How exciting is that, right?
It was incredible.
I know.
The senior quarterback gave the junior quarterback a seminar on how to play football. That was amazing.
So are you trying to say that age is just a number?
Absolutely.
You bet.
The older we get, the better we get.
You know,
age is wasted on the young.
You know, there's so much truth to that. And because you are a 6-time world champion and you took your last championship at age, what was it, 78?
Yeah, it was 78.
Exactly.
Seems like yesterday.
I know it does. Well, hopefully we can be some motivation and inspiration for all of you youngsters out there, and also for many of you that know and believe that age is just a number. It really is. But you know, today we thought we would talk a little bit about what's happening out there in the world. You know, we go from one day to the next. There's always something to deal with, right? And I thought that my husband and I had some really good skill sets, but when we really put them to the test is this last year. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It was, what I call it, awakening that we've been waiting for a long time.
That's a very good way to say that, an awakening.
Yeah, it woke some of us up.
Yes, it did. It did. And we have a lot of our viewers out there and also dear friends that tune in. Cher Kissler, one of our amazing women, Helena, and Maura. And also Chrisula Gauze. You've seen them on the show. We're all kind of like in that hub of belief and appreciation and gratitude for life. And when you say the awakening, you've seen it. You're seeing it. It's happening around us. And depending on what your perception is with your belief system, you'll understand what we're talking about. Well, today I put on Facebook open mic on people, passion, and purpose. And these are the things that we're talking about that has affected us in our lives. And what I mean about that is we are doing now, as we all, since we've been together, we've been doing for close to 24 years, is giving back and really wanting to make a difference in your life, the lives of your family, our generations coming up. And so we purposefully research and put these researching developments into play and backed by science so that we can really get up on our soapbox and be as genuine and as authentic as we possibly can to share this with you so you know where we're coming from. And I know that it's been a real big challenge out there with people losing jobs, people having relationship issues. We have dear friends that have been broken up, and it's just bringing, it seems like it's bringing so much to a head in some ways, in some families. With us, we've discovered even more so how we enjoy being home.
Yeah, it's funny how we had to learn to communicate better than we were communicating before, because this whole thing that took over all of last year, it was an incredible awakening. Like I mentioned, we didn't expect it. We weren't really prepared for it, but it let a lot of us realize how important our partner is and how important love is in our relationship.
That's right.
Because with the modern day life, you can get caught in this thing and that thing, things that really take and pull us away from the one or the group of people we love. But now this is different. We realize how precious our life has been, and it enables us to take advantage of the awakening, because in every disaster there is a benefit. Even if it's just communicating with each other and enjoy being able to handle a situation, which we are doing, and I feel pretty remarkably well.
And I agree with you on that score. You know, when things happen, and don't think for 1 minute that we haven't had our crisis from one thing to the next. You name it, if you've gone through it, chances are we have as well. From losing jobs to illness to deaths in the family, whether it be with friends like family or our immediate family, we all share in some of those things that really can put us into a quandary in how to deal with it, how to move forward. And while we talk about love, a deep, unconditional love that we've had for many, many years, and still that is what sustains us on a regular basis. And you might be thinking, oh, well, yeah, sure. Well, you guys have all that deep love. But you know what? It wasn't an accident. We felt that we were brought together for the reason being right here, sharing our same beliefs, our very strong foundation in faith and our God. And for many of you out there that are on the same page, God bless you. We're glad that you're here with us today. And if we can just take our consciousness level to a higher, like a higher being, it takes the power of not only thought, but the words that we say, the actions that we do. Now, would you like to agree with that or disagree?
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
No, I'm just
You do
pulling your
not.
leg.
So
No, I agree. Obviously, we live together and we really know what each other wants and what we're doing with our life. So what you were talking about makes sense.
And something that, and thank you for that, something that we realize too, that, you know, being home as much as we are, we do have a nice home office. My grandson calls it the trophy room because the walls are lined with you-know-whose trophies, being a 6-time world martial arts champion, and I wouldn't change that for the world. But sometimes we, even though we may think that we're really getting along really great and all wonders and all that, we have our moments. But those moments, the way we attack those moments, if we have something to be disagreeable on or just any old thing, and it's usually nothing big, we need to know that we're being heard. Have you ever found that? Where you want to just know that you're being heard. You're not looking for a solution to any immediate problem, because sometimes when you're in that lower vibration and frequency, that lower chamber where that's not where you want to be when you're making choices, but you want to raise that equation and you want to raise that to that higher level of consciousness to where you're coming from a love state, because that's when you can make the decisions much better. For example, when we're talking about, we have have a whole lot going on this year, and we're just so blessed that finally we're able to do 100% what we love and what we want to share with all of you. And we've done it in little dribs and drabs and little workshops and different things, but we are really stepping up and stepping out with more coaching, more offers for so many of you to come on board with us and learn along with us, ask us questions about different things that we all share. For example, talking about when these things happen, one of the first things that I learned from my coach was asking yourself, what can be good about this, right? What have I learned from this, right? And what can I do different if this happens again? Now, can you expand on that?
Yeah, also, one of the key things is how we ask ourselves questions that enable to bring out the best in us. For example, I wanted to mention one thing and then another thing popped in my mind. You ever have that happen?
Yes, all the time, thank you.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is what we need to do when we want to take our life a little bit further is ask yourself, what do I have to believe? What do I have to believe to accomplish this? For example, I believe it's going to take work to be successful, to be wanted and loved, and it takes an effort on everyone's part, that's your family and yourself. Asking yourself, what do I have to believe? Well, I have to believe that I have the, say, for example, I'm going into a sporting event like a karate tournament or something of that nature. But what I would ask myself, what do I have to believe to win this match? What do I have to believe to be able to train? What do I have to believe to be able to help others benefit from my successes and things like that? But that key there is, what do I have to believe? Because belief is the central power that establishes our attitude. Our attitude establishes our feelings. How we are in our attitude has a lot to do with our feelings. Our feelings will create an action, something that will happen, either positive or negative, depending upon the choices you choose. And then next one is the results. And your results will tell you how you program yourself. So if your life isn't happy, if you want your next 10 years to be like your last 10 years, then just stay what you're doing. If you want your next 10 years to be better, then you've got to be better. You've got to change. And it's not that you have to change, but for the better, because the one best gift you can give your family is a wonderful example that you'll set in whatever you're doing. That's the best gift you can give your family and your friends, is be a good example.
Exactly. And we have so many friends that feel that way too and do set that example no matter what kind of things are going on in their lives, what's going on in our lives. By setting an example, when the going gets tough, it's up to those of us with leadership qualities to act like a leader. Be a leader. And if you're trying to raise a child or grandchildren, do you know there's a lot of baby boomers raising their grandchildren?
I know.
It's amazing today. And you talk about personal growth and development. You know, I never gave that a hoot and a holler when I was growing up. What's that? What is that? Well, now I know all about that, because without personal growth and development, we can't grow. And how many times do you say, if you can't grow, you just stay where you're at?
Yeah, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, said, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. And there's so much credibility to that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Well, you know, it all comes right down to having that belief system to know that we really do have that amazing word called power. Power has just the sounds of it. Remember when we did the little experiment of the words and the frequency that they have? We brought in 2 cups. One said poise, and the other one said poison.
Poison. Right.
Poison. And do you know, I wrote out different little descriptive words in the poison one in the poise, and as I was actually pulling those out, the words, I could feel the frequency go down when I would say, do you want to drink from the cup with poise, or do you want to drink with the cup with poison. And I could just feel it. And I told everybody to do that themselves, write all those descriptive words and do that with your family. And all you have to do is see how you feel. Because everything has energy. This table has energy, everything. This red envelope that I'm going to share, what's in here, a very big power word, at the end of the show. So you have to stay with us before you hear where your power lies, where your power truly lies. But I know a lot of us have had negative days, negative moments, wondering what's next. We hear, every single day, a shoe drops here, a bomb drops there. And you go, oh, now we have to deal with that. Now we have to deal with that. And for many of you that have tuned into our shows, we always talk about living a life that's empowered through heart empowerment lifestyle, which is easy to do by living from the heart and raising your frequency level. And that, for those of you that have not, just keep tuning in because we shamelessly get on our soapbox and talk about it. But for those of us, and I, and you as well included, have felt at times that we were in an emotional prison. I just want you to think about that for a moment. I know, raising my children as a single mom, there were times when I felt like, gosh, I got to keep going. I can't give up, but I feel like I can't think. I feel like I can't move. I don't know where to go next. I don't know who to talk next to. Thankfully, my family and friends have pulled me through it. Haven't you felt like that? Like you were just in this emotional prison.
Yeah, it's a feeling of helplessness.
Yes.
And there's several psychologists that did a lot of research on that. And they say the most negative emotion, as far as the one that does the most damage of any of the emotions, more so than anger and so on, that...
Did you have a moment? A senior moment?
Yeah, I had a senior moment.
I know something's good's coming. We'll go back to it?
We'll go back to it.
Okay. This happens from time to time. See? Just like that. Now, we could let that fluster us and we lose our cool. And I've seen that happen with people, but because we've accepted, things just aren't perfect. Perfection is only a direction. And I'm sure we all, whether we have a challenging health situation or not, like Parkinson's disease or whatever, you don't even have to be a senior citizen to have a senior moment. How many times do we talk to the younger group of individuals that are in their 30s and 40s and it just left? They just lost the whole conversation they were about to say, right?
That happens.
It does. But talking about an emotional prison, it's not fun. It's not fun. One of my emotional prisons, I'll never forget when I was going through, many years ago, going through a transition in my marriage at the time, not with my present husband, but with the biological dad of my boys, and I was trying to go to real estate school. You remember this story. I'd go into the class, and I actually took my girlfriend at that time to go to real estate school with me so she could help me and I could help her as well, because I'd go out in the car and sit and bawl my eyes out. I didn't want to go through that transition at that time. And I felt like I was in an emotional prison because there was nothing I could do but to pull myself forward, find what my driving force was at that time, which was my family. And nothing gets in the way of my sacred ground known as my family. You know that, and my family knows that. And I think for all of us, it's that driving force that we must find. And everyone has the power. You have the power. You were born into it. We all were. And you were talking about that today. Earlier on, I was wondering, well, you were just really had your nose to the grindstone with many notes from many seminars that you've done. And it tied in really well for talking about being in an emotional prison and finding we must dig deep to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps. If you're a female out there, you know the old saying goes, put your big girl panties on and move on through it. And guess what? I've had to do that. I really had to do that. I can't tell you how many times. It works. But when you have that driving force, which is power, it works. It really does work. So I want you to talk about what you wanted to say about power and how we can power up ourselves to get out of any situation whatsoever. It works, really does, guaranteed.
Well, one of the things that I always tell in my seminars is that the most important, I should say the most powerful weapon in the world is attention. For example, the attention you get is either good attention, where you're trying to get a positive input into it, or a bad intention, whether you're trying to do something that is negative to yourself or somebody else. The key thing is by concentrating on the positive things of focusing your attention, focusing on positive things that are negative, it actually is the best weapon of the warrior. And when you have attention, you build up confidence. When you have confidence, you build up spiritual power. And spiritual power is the greatest force in the universe. So it's a matter of just deciding, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be important to my family by doing the right things as much as possible. When I make mistakes, I'm not going to beat up on myself. There's no such a thing as perfection in a human being. The preacher expects perfection of the congregation. The congregation expects it with the preacher, the school teacher with the student with the school teacher. It's this driving for perfection that drives people mad. Just a matter of deciding what you want to accomplish that's positive and seeing that as already happening. For example, there is research done by this one company that they found out that 7% of what you do, your feelings, are 7% of your communication. Your words that you use are 38% of your words, of the thought. And your 55% is your body language. So years ago, before we had language, people communicated better than they do now, because you couldn't fake the body language like you can fake a word or so. So the body language was one of the key things that we used to evolve into the society we are, which in a lot of cases isn't good because of the fact that we're not really truthful with the individual. We try to cover up our feelings. So that's why this company was so successful. I won't mention the name, but they really played a very important part of our success is those things, the 7% of the words we use, 38% of the feeling, and 55% of your body language will give you better communication than the words or the tone will.
So all of that can be applied in our personal lives and our business lives. I mean, tenfold, correct?
Absolutely.
And, you know, the last I heard, this was many, many years ago, that people observe you and assess you. I don't like to use the word judgment, because we know where judgment really is only good from. But if you are observing someone and you don't make your assessment like after a while. It used to be 15 seconds. Now I heard it's 6 seconds. 6 seconds. So in 6 seconds, we need to put our best foot forward and be as authentic as we can possibly be in personal and in business relationships. And you can't fake it, because people can read you up and down, can't they?
Yeah, it's hard to cover up your body language.
Yeah.
You can watch somebody's eye predicates.
Yes.
Meaning you can tell if a person looks upward or downward when they're let's put it this way, when we're asking a question that we want to find a proper, truthful answer, we can actually tell if they're telling the truth by looking at where their eyes are.
Mm-hmm. I know, we've talked about that.
In other words, if they're looking up or they're looking down, it's either the truth or a lie. I won't even get into it because they might sue me for not for not getting permission to use your secrets, so to speak.
Well, it's pretty powerful, though, that body language and your voice and all of that.
Programming.
NLP, yeah.
Yeah, NLP, and I've studied in that for a number of years, and it's really helped me in my business, because when you're able to read people, then you can serve them a lot better if you know what they want. Because basically, everybody wants pleasure. We're a pleasure-seeking mechanism, the human being is.
Sure.
And how we get pleasure will tell how our life's going to be patterned. For example, if cocaine is pleasurable to you, that pleasure is going to do you in, obviously. If hurting people's feelings and being, riding people roughshod, if that isn't taken care of, then that really causes its damage. So it's very important to be able to focus and concentration on what's good for us.
Well, you had mentioned about the body language and your I predicates. And there's a connection on where I want to go with this next video, because when I posted this today, I called it People, Passion, and Purpose. Our purpose is what we're doing right here. You are the main driving force, people. People of all kinds. This is the unity that we bring together, have always brought together. And we're very proud of that. And we're always growing and looking for more ways to help ourselves and to help you. Because there's so many life coaches out there and there's so many programs. We do the research for all of us. And Heart Math Institute is our kind of main squeeze and all. But when we talk about passion, what is passion? That is something that you can see from head to toe, correct?
Absolutely, that's correct.
And I have this, since yesterday, Saturday, Sunday, and this morning, I have been playing this video from these African kids. I believe they're called Masaka kids. And when they go out there and do this dance, which I am going to learn, I want you to see, I want you to read their passion through their movements, through the beautiful smile on their face. The passion is coming right up from their soul, all the way down from their toes, all the way up, and it's expressed in their beautiful little faces. We're going to go ahead and let you see that, and you can always go to my timeline, Barbara Marville, and you'll see that on my timeline from yesterday and today. But let's go that now, if we can. I love the little baby on the ground there, and she was really getting into it and clapping. But do you see what I'm saying? The passion that's coming out from those kids. They probably don't even know what that word means, but it's so natural and so organic. How many times I've been playing that? It's been going all morning long, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the truth.
All morning long I've been playing that because it's a happy dance, it's happy music. Jerusalem, and I want to give credit to it's a master DJ that put that out, and it's gone worldwide. And I'm excited about that, but I wanted to just give you a sample on what passion is and how you can see it as being really expressed. But here's the other thing. You know, a couple of years ago, we were right here. You weren't doing this. Helena Trengata and I were president chairs for a local networking group. And we were talking about passion, and I had several people on there when I asked the question, what is your passion? They were dumbfounded. They couldn't answer me. They didn't know what passion was.
That is so sad.
It is very sad, and it comes so natural to us. Not that we're any better than anybody else or anything, but we've been doing this for so many years that we've learned to do everything with passion that we have passion for. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and part of the reason that they don't use a passion, that they don't develop something they're passionate about, they're afraid of being disappointed, or they're afraid of being hurt, or afraid their dreams won't come true. So they're afraid to be passionate because that might be taken away from them, or whatever reason. They're afraid to step out. They're sort of, what would I say, they're trying to tiptoe through life, hopefully make it safely to death.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. Well, we've talked about this word power, and in that, it was quite an awakening for me. We're always having these awakenings, aha moments. Well, when I get an aha moment, you know me, I'm jumping up and down on the bed like a trampoline. Have I
Scares
not?
the lights out of the dogs.
But when I get an aha moment, that's the passion. It's the passion that was just coming up. It just bubbles right up, and okay, I've got to do this. But what these people that were in this group, I wanted to try to help them pull a passion out, because we know what our passion is. We're doing our passion. And during this pandemic nonsense that everybody is just, we're all done with it, let's face it. Some of you have found jobs, some of you have not. Some of you have been able to collect the unemployment benefits, and some have not. But maybe this is a time for you to awaken and find that passion. And maybe I'm talking to the couple of people that were working for companies and still could not find their passion. They weren't living their passion in their business. And if that's okay for you, then that's okay. It's okay. For us, that's not okay.
Right.
Because we have not done anything in business that we have not been passionate about ever since you and I came together as an item. Even when I was working as a show host for HSN, I was really passionate about that. And it wasn't about being on camera, starting over in television in my mid-40s. Believe me when I tell you, that's when a lot of news anchors were retiring. But I went out there and I was so passionate to give a service, an authentic service on how to sell this gold pen at an affordable price and build a story around it and how it's going to make you feel. And it's no different today. Once you look at passion and non-passion, just the word itself, lack of passion, my voice just went down. Passion is coming from my heart and soul, because we do that. We do that in our dance, we do that in our relationship, in our coaching, and it feels so good to have had success with those that don't know what their passion is, but they want to know. What does it take? Another P word. So I'm going to ask my life coach, which my husband has been. He's the one that has given me a lot of help when I was working the overnights and dragging myself in at 7 o'clock in the morning after a 3-hour show, trying to stay awake for all that and be compelling and give those wonderful service to you guys. And then helping my mom, doing a little bit of caregiving, and then coming home and trying to get by with 4 and 5 hours sleep. So how do we combine that passion, purpose, and people? One word, the power word.
Love.
And you guessed it.
Of course.
Of course.
That's the easiest question you ever asked me.
You know what? I was saving this for the end of the show, but we still have some time left. But I bought several of these cards to give away, and this one you can't see it because it's on a red background, but it says, "To our super Facebook peeps." That's you and anyone else out there that comes on and watches Primetime. And you haven't seen this card yet.
No, I haven't.
You want to see what your superpower is, right?
Yes.
You want to see what your superpower is? I can't stand it. I can't wait any longer. You ready for this? Love is your superpower. Every day, every minute, every hour of our lives, that is what our superpower is. And you know, when I saw this at Walmart, so and they still had some if you wanted to get one, if that resonates with you. And on the inside of this, I will read it, because this is our Valentine's show, and we won't be here next week. The world needs a whole lot more love in it, and that's where people like you come in. You make the world a kinder, more caring, more loving place. Thank you. So this is a great generic gift to give to someone, if that resonates. Like I say, we know for sure that love is the superpower, and kind kind of like brings us into a whole superhero tribe when we can really come from love. We have a lot of friends that do that already and have ever since we've known them. We've learned a lot from them. Cher Kissler, we have you in our hearts all the time in our prayers. Helena Trengata, Chrysula Gauze, oh my goodness, the list goes on. Maura Sweeney, those are all of our amazing women, and we're all life coaches. We come here really the last Monday of every month. So I think we'll have to see you next month, or do we still have another show this month? Maybe. But it really is wonderful to be able to use this as a platform that is global. These shows go worldwide. So anytime you can share these, if you think we have something to say, great. Pass it on. Let's talk about power. Power, 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 power. Just the word power.
Well, I feel that the real supreme power, when we really talk about constructive power, is the power of love.
Yes.
Obviously. And if you want to develop that power of love, you have to see yourself in the future doing what you love to do, doing what makes you feel the love. You can do that. It takes practice. But what happens is when you look into the future, as far as seeing yourself with what you feel would help you love your family, whatever love you're seeking, feel yourself, see yourself, look into the future and enjoy in that moment. Because what happens then, you put in hormones into the body that are very useful for good health, for competing. Anytime I get ready to compete, before I get in the ring, I always put some love in my heart, because love conquers anything else. There's an interesting story. I think I'll ask Barbara to tell the story. But first of all, I want to mention that it's hard for people to believe that they can love if they have never loved before. They are afraid of it. But I want Barbara to tell you about this little African tribe and how they deal with love.
Oh, that's the story, and that was given to us by HeartMath Institute, and it was an anonymous story. Oh, I wish I would have had the whole. You know what? I'll post it on Facebook when I can. But it's a story about an African tribe, and when the child was born as an infant, the villagers would all come together and they would sing them their song. And that song became their song throughout the years of their lives. And in the end, they would sing the song when they passed away at their burial. But during the times when, through their lives as a child growing up to adolescent and all that adulthood, if for some reason that individual, male or female, would perform an aberrant act, I always get that word mixed up, that means it's not a good thing. Do you know what? That tribe would come together and they would sing them their song. The song that they've known all their life. They would not do anything harmful to them. They would come with love. And they would pull them out of that maybe dark place that they were in, where they did an act that was unacceptable, to help them move on. So their song of love would resonate with them and through the rest of their lives. And it's the most beautiful story. In fact, we're going to start up our heart waves again, women and visionary enlightened spirits. And that's the one thing that I had one of those aha moments where we could get together as women like they used to when they were making quilts and having a gathering, a sewing party, and they would share their stories, and it was just so beautiful. And we were doing that for a number of years, and we would get together after I read this beautiful story that you gave me from HeartMath Institute, anonymous story, but it talked about the African tribe, and we would get together and remind each other our songs. You know, when we do Women Unscripted, the 5 of us here, 4 or 5 whoever is here. Mary Ann also comes every now and again too, and she shoots some really good photography and all that, and she's a wonderful soul. We pray for her. She's in that mindset of that power of love mindset too. There's so many light workers out there, but I have to tell you, when we all get together, we do have a lot of laughs, but we've also had some cries, because every single one of us has had one crisis, one health issue, one this or one that to go through, but because we've developed skill sets that has pulled us through every time, or we've helped to pull each other through, it makes such a world of difference. So in these last maybe 15, no, not even 15 minutes, my thing I would say to you is to get yourself a tribe of people who love you and are there for you no matter what, no matter what. And they're there to love you and remind you of your own song, whatever that song would be. It makes a big difference when you have friends that you can pick up the phone with, whether it's from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, and you're still in that same love channel that has pulled you through all these years, maybe without that person. And then you hook up with them again, and you just feel like it was yesterday.
Can I interrupt you for a moment before
Yes,
I
you
forget?
can. Yeah, you better interrupt me before you do forget.
Yeah, that's
Go
right.
for
All
it.
right. One of the things that doesn't exist in the tribe, it's non-existent, is crime. They don't have any
the African
crime.
tribe.
The African tribe. I know I'm going back.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to bring out that point, that they have such intense love there. They have their indifferences, but they, like Barbara said, they get in the circle and everybody tells nice, lovable things. They sing their song and do a lot of things that make that person feel better about themselves. And that being that this is done through the whole life of the child, going to the adult, going to the senior, that's something that isn't contrived. That's embedded in their lifestyle. They're taught that. We could do the same thing. Of course, that would be probably as far-fetched as me walking to the moon with what's going on in this world. But you can always have hope. That's a very strong emotion. Having hope that this world will change for the better. And if we can become that kind of person and help that change, more power to us.
You know, I was just going here on Facebook to see if I could find the African tribe on there. I will go ahead and take a picture of it, and I will post it on my timeline, because it's really something that everyone should think about. I really believe in my heart, and I know that our friends, I know you do too, is there should be absolutely no division out there in the world. It's up to you and me, my husband and all of us, to bring that unity together. And we're actually working on some various projects that we're going to be doing exactly that. And you'll be some of the first ones to hear about that, because I'm telling you, we are stepping up and stepping out. We're not waiting for the time. The time has come. The time has come. And you can see it. Turn on the news. That'll be your proof. Nobody knows who to believe anymore about anything. Anything. Although I did say, what did I say? That I totally believe what I see is whoever it is, you know that our hearts were with the Packers to win, but they didn't. But my belief is to see Aaron Rodgers and now Brady take the ball and run with it and make that goal. When I can see that, that's what I believe in my heart of hearts. And of course, I do believe my faith and my strong foundation in our Heavenly Father. That goes without saying, as so do you. And you know what? Some of you may agree with this and some of you may not, and that's perfectly okay. But the one thing, if we can all just come together with love, like holding this
Amen.
right, there you can see it the best here, I guess. Love, 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 love. Make an acronym for it. This sits on our fireplace in our family room every day, and then I have another big love plaque as well. So we have plenty of it around the house. Then we have our 2 Yorkies that we're codependent on. I'm okay with that, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. They run the house. They rule the whole house. What they want, they get.
But they're so full of love too, and that's what we're all about here. I know I'm going down the bunny hole, but going back to what I posted on Facebook, who are we and what's next in our lives? It's really a factor of getting out of that emotional prison. And I know some of you are out there and feel like that right this very minute. You don't have to. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to business, it doesn't matter. It can all be handled the same way with skill sets of using your frequency to be so brilliant and being able to tap into that power. Love is your superpower all the time, every day. And I'll tell you, when you use that, it is probably the biggest weapon against hatefulness and all of the things that represent the dark place.
One other group of natives, these are Indians. They live in southern Mexico. Because somebody asked me one time, how does love play a part in athleticism? In other words, if an athlete can learn to love what they're doing and love the surroundings, they're likely more to be successful as an athlete. And to prove that point, the Tarahumara Indians in southern Mexico, they are very physical. They run 100 miles without rest. 100 miles without rest. They won't run in the Olympics.
At one time?
At one time without stopping. They won't go into the Olympics because to them, that's a religion. Running is like they run everywhere they go. But because they're doing something physical, they don't have time to do anything criminally. So they hardly have any criminal in that group, 50,000 in southern Mexico. They hardly have any problem with crime because they're doing something physical and something they love to do. So their love is a little bit different, but they have good family communication. They have code of ethics and things like that. Without going into it, they're really a wonderful group of individuals because they share that with the people that are needing that love.
That's really cool what you just said. I found the story on the African tribe. Would you like to hear it? And this is word for word. It's on my Heartwaves Network, Women and Visionary Enlightened Spirits on Facebook. This is dated July 9th, 2015. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. That's 6 years. I had to count my fingers. Sorry about that. Anyway, what I want to say is our Heartwaves Network, Women and Visionary Enlightened Spirits gathering is today, where we gather and remind each other of our song. And it all stems from the anonymous amazing story of the African tribe. The African tribe whose villagers gather together from the birth of every child and sing them their song, as well as all through all life's transitions. Even if they commit an aberrant social act, the community gathers together and chants them their song. The tribe recognizes that the correction for antisocial behavior is love and remembrance of identity. A friend is someone who knows your song and sings it to you when you have forgotten it. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly or broken. You may not have grown up in an African tribe, but life is always reminding you when you are in tune with yourself and when you are not. When you are feeling good, what you are doing matches your song, and when you feel awful, it doesn't. In the end, we shall all recognize our song and sing it well. You may feel a bit warbly at first, but so have all the great singers. Just keep on singing, and you'll find your way home. I love that. Sorry. It just hits a chord with me.
I thought it would fit good for Valentine's Day.
It's perfect. It really is. Keep on singing your song, because I'll tell you, it makes a big difference. I have many friends in this community that has reminded me, you remind me, I remind you. Isn't that beautiful, the way that tribe lived and probably is still living today?
Absolutely. And it could possibly come here if there is some major changes. We can at least be part of that change.
Yes.
And help a few people if we can't help everyone.
Yes, I think it's beautiful.
And you can't get frustrated because that's the way it is.
It is the way it is. I think a lot of people are going back to our roots and what worked way back then, because a whole lot of stuff ain't working now, right?
Right. You don't see the Bibles in the drawers in hotels anymore.
No, you don't. We have our own little private altar because we've had to do so many prayers. It made sense, and I did that after we went to St. Michael's Shrine over in Tarpon Springs. If you're ever in Tarpon Springs, please do go there. It's so beautiful, and I loved how I felt that I put right in the center of our villa a little altar and pictures of friends and just prayers and all of that with a nice standing cross there. That's just what I do. And I like to do that. I actually love to do stuff like that. But yeah, this has been a really good show, especially for Valentine's Day. To be able to share our platform with all of you out there is just what we love to do. And for those of you that know us, this heart should be over here, because I do wear my heart in my sleeve, and so do you. Maybe I'll have T-shirts made up. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and there it is. What else can we talk about power? Because power is really, it's the key thing that we all have, and some of us don't realize that we have the power, right?
Absolutely. In fact, some of us feel that we have an anti-power. We are not as good as the average person. And we are afraid to do this, afraid to do that because we might get laughed at. That's the reverse of power. How can you turn that around? Realizing that we were the fastest swimmer before we were born. That's one thing, because we were a champion before we were born, and we were born a champion. Realize we have that embedded in us. And according to quantum physics, everything that ever was, ever will be, is embedded in every single cell. All you have to do is tap into that beautiful, lovable, powerful thing called love. Love is the highest of all the emotions, of all the things to do with physics and so on, is the highest emotion and vibrations of any emotion. In fact, in the Bible it says, get one with the universe. And now if you decipher the Bible, get one with the universe, the interesting thing that our part of meditation called theta, part of the brain, theta vibrates at 7.8 hertz. The universe vibrates at 7.8 hertz. So those people that meditate and get into love, they're actually putting a lot of positive chemicals in the body, hormones in the body, that actually help us live longer and a better and a happier life.
And love vibrates at?
7.9 or 7.8 hertz is love. The universe vibrates at 7.8
I love that.
or 9. That's love of the universe. How about that?
Isn't that very cool? So it just goes to prove that the science behind the love hormone is the best hormone.
Yeah, it's not just a word.
No, it's not.
It's a lot more than a word.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes, when I was young punk, I didn't think that there was such a thing called love. And I had to make some dramatic changes, but I'm glad I did. Thank God that I had some mentors that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we can immerse ourselves in love, which is easy to do, you all have someone to love and loves you back. And if you don't, you can find it just like you did. And there's a lot to it, to live this whole loving life and use the power word. Power yourself up with your own power. You can find it. You can dig deep enough to find it, because let me tell you this. I gave this to my husband, I think it was right after you won in 2016 when you came out of retirement, yet one more time at age 78, won a 6 world title. I bought him this plaque because it was so fitting. He powered up his own inner power. And just keep in mind that once you become fearless, and I know there's a lot of fear going around out there, but love and power will overcome all of that. Life becomes limitless, limitless. And living a life that is unlimited, knowing that we have this amazing world that we live in, and if we can just get through the minutia, one pile after another, and I don't mean to be guttural, but that's really the bottom line, and go with love. Go with the power from within. Go with that strong aha moment when you feel it. And I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, that's the Holy Spirit knocking on my door, right? And out I come to bed. Okay, let me get my paper. Let me write all this down. You want me to do this? And then I have to wait for another month or two for the next clue. But it always comes to me. I call Helena, my girlfriend, and I call her at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, guess what? It's just a thing that we do. And we hope that you've really enjoyed the show today. Immerse yourself in your own power from within, because it is there. And if you ever want to get a hold of us, you can go ahead and private message us. And you can also go to barbaramarville.com or dennis-kelly.com. And we started a new thing about a month ago, or 3 weeks, or a month ago. On our legacy group calls, we have started personal growth and development. Live and unrehearsed, question and answers. And I know Rob's going to put that link up. It's a Zoom call at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. No, excuse me, 2 o'clock Mountain Time and 4 o'clock Eastern Time. So 4 o'clock our time here in Florida. And that's a Zoom webinar that you can come in, and we're having, this week we're talking, and then every other week we'll be there, or every week, it's going to be a mixture of professional speakers. So you'll be able to really hone in on some great information that will help you rise above all the chaos that's out there and all the piles of stuff that you just don't really want to deal with or really need to deal with. But we're working on being productive and being here every week. I'm here on with you on Mondays, and then Wednesdays I do my chamber TV and I do interviews thanks to WeBeam TV and Tampa Bay Multimedia. And we either go on location or the chambers come here and I interview business owners. And I'll tell you, it's really been enlightening for me going on 7.5 years, I think now. I learn more about our community. I learn more about you, and we promote their businesses, and it's really great. We do a lot of different shows. If you're local, and even if you're not local, if you ever want to do your own show for a business that you're either starting or you want to ramp it up after this pandemic and all, we can do that right from Port Richey, Florida, in this studio. We're a professional studio that goes globally. You can give us a call here at the studio, and we'll be more than happy to help you share the love of your business or the love of your passion. And we've been doing this now for a good little while. Time really flies, doesn't it?
It's so funny, too. Not funny, but what's so amazing is that I really, even though we've done all these shows, I really look forward to it.
I know.
Because it gives me a chance to express myself with the people I love. That's the audience out there, because I love you all, good, bad, or ugly.
That's so very, very true. We love that. And I just looked at my calendar here, and we do have one more show after next week. Next week we're probably going to be re-airing this one, so hopefully you'll take it and push it out there or tell people. And then Women Unscripted hopefully will be back the last Monday of the month. So you have another day off. How are you going to survive that?
I'll read.
You'll read. I love it. My husband is a reader. A reader, which allows him to become a leader. And that's one thing that is very, very true. If you were to come to our villa, walls are lined with books. Regular reading books, not all on this, for sure. So we want to thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful, happy Valentine's Day coming up on Sunday. And feel free to get a hold of us. We love you all. God bless. Be safe and healthy. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.